In order to achieve great things in volleyball, you have to let go of your attachment to results. To understand that concept, I like to first go back to the essence of competition as a whole. It's really easy to view competition as merely a means to achieve success, as a means to, prove to someone else that you're better than them. But if it was just about that, then why not just play against, the worst competition to get more wins? If it was just about winning and results, then why not just, maximize the volume of wins that we can get? Well, you might answer, obviously, because it doesn't feel good to win against someone who's just objectively worse than you. What is the point of that? Well, in that way, we reveal to ourselves that the true point of competition is not proving your superiority over someone else. It's proving what you can be to yourself. If we look at someone like a surfer, the whole reason that they go into deeper waters and travel to get the biggest waves is because the biggest challenges call upon them to rise to the occasion, to become the best they can be, to push their body and their mind to greater heights. I forget exactly who said it. It might be Marcus Aurelius or Aristotle. I forget. One of the philosophers, I think, has a quote that goes like, what a tragedy it would be to grow old and die without seeing what your body was capable of. And that quote kind of reflects the ethos of competition. The entire reason that we play sports and compete is not to prove ourselves better than someone else. It's to force us to become better than our past selves. And through that, we're able to kind of realign and change our own definitions of success. Now, as an athlete, you're kind of guided to measure your own success in terms of accolades, victories, and achievements. But I think that can be kind of distracting from what I view as true success, and that's growth. We don't only succeed when we win. Losses can teach us way more than victories ever could. And is the point of competition and the point of sport not to grow? I think that it is. So in this way, I think that your definition of your own success should really be in terms of your growth and comparison to your past instead of comparison to other people. And it's because of this that your success should come not from victories, but from following your own process and daily habits and, methods of growth that you should find fulfillment and enjoyment in your own success. Because if you really look at it, especially in team sports, there's so much that goes into the actual result that's outside of your control. So why would you purely base and measure your own success based on stuff that, really you don't have that big of an impact on? And when people say stuff like that, it becomes really easy to just get like a nihilistic point of view and say, oh, if it's outside of my control, then, what's the point of trying? Because obviously it's not purely outside of your control. And that is why it's important to focus on the process itself. Now, I think that it's not inherently bad to want to win and to allow that pursuit of victory to motivate you and drive you to work in-game and in practice and, in all areas of life. However, when we attach our own skill, value, talent, worth to those external results, it can really, demotivate us and distract you from how much you actually are growing. But how do we do that? Well, detachment of those results allows you to objectively view why things happen. And in that way, we find those processes, daily habits, and actual actionable steps that we can take to change that outcome. So in this way, we reevaluate what it means to truly succeed and to truly win. When we're able to find joy in the process of growth itself and not just in the benefits of that growth, victories, wins, etc., then we find that we can actually achieve much greater things because of our detachment from, those achievements. Now, you can still be excited to win and sad about losing, but you shouldn't get caught up in basing your own skill and growth on those results because there's so much more that goes into your own development than simply winning a game. So, how do we use this idea to continue our own development? Well, first, as I said earlier, you have to detach your own ego and self-worth from results. And once you've done that, you can look objectively at where you are, where you want to be, and the steps you can take to get there. And now that you know that you're on that right path, you don't need to be distracted by the things in between, the results. Those are simply byproducts of There's a hornet. Sorry about that. Those are simply byproducts of your own growth. Now, if we take our new definition of success and look back at what I was saying earlier with competition as a whole, we begin to understand that our detachment from results can be what allows us to achieve things we never could have when we were so focused on those results. And that mental shift from focusing on results to focusing on processes is something that I've begun to carry in practically all aspects of my life. It began as a way for me to improve in volleyball and stop, getting distracted, worrying about how I compared to others, and now allows me to, in any skill that I'm trying to do or any field that I'm trying to pursue, it's a way for me to take these actionable steps instead of getting so lost in the results. Now, I would greatly recommend checking out these two books if you're interested in a more detailed look at these concepts, because a lot of this is based on my own understanding and my own experience, and these books both offer a more refined and studied point of view, which I think is very beneficial for any athlete. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy.